Welcome to Breakout of your ThingLink 360. Today's session, you're going to learn how to facilitate a Breakout EDU type of learning experience using ThingLink's 360 VR features. If you're not familiar with what a Breakout EDU is, maybe you have heard of an escape room. That's a craze that's kind of going around the country where you and a group of friends are locked in a room and there are a series of clues to help you figure out how to open up the various locks and get out of the room. A group of educators love that idea, but with the ability of not being able to lock students in a classroom, they adapted it and figured out a way to kind of bring that same experience into the classroom, where they have a physical box with a series of locks and there's clues hidden around the room, and students have to problem solve, collaborate, and integrate the content area the teacher has included to figure out the clues and break out of the box. That same idea has now been adapted to also be digital. And so today you'll be able to get a chance to see how you can use ThingLink 360 VR to create a digital breakout experience. So before we get started, what is Interactive 360 VR? With the premium features and ThingLink, teachers as well as students can take a 360 image, either one that they found online or one that they actually took with a mobile device using different apps, and be able to add a layer of media to it to kind of create their own digital story. Those items that they add, they tag up the image, and it could be other images, it could be videos, it could be items from Google that were embedded, it could be links to websites. Unbelievable different ways that you can enhance that 360 experience for your viewers. So a little bit about me. My name is Dan Gallagher. I'm a teacher resource specialist for technology with a school district in New Jersey. I'm also a ThingLink certified educator. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Gallagher_tech. And I have a couple other various certifications and acknowledgments from different educational organizations out there, like Google, Apple, things like that. And I had this idea last year where I took, using an app on my cell phone, Panorama 360, I took the photo of inside of a classroom, and by embedding various items on there, I was able to create a digital breakout experience. So here's the original one that I designed. And so it's the inside of a classroom, and I was able to embed different clues. The locks are created using Google Forms, and they now have this immersive experience where they can try to figure out the clues, unlock the forms, and be able to break out of the classroom. So when you're thinking of creating a digital breakout, there are three musts that you have. Your story, so you need some way to hook your participant in and kind of connect all of your clues together and all your locks to be able to create this experience. The other two items are your locks, which we use digital locks through Google Forms, as well as your clues, which could be anything: YouTube videos, websites, images, other Google items, other ThingLinks. Anything that's embeddable can be added on to create this experience. So I'm going to focus right now on how you can create your digital locks using Google Forms. The way you do that is using a feature that's built in to the question types of short answer, paragraph, or checkboxes, and it's using a feature called data validation. This is a feature where that type of question requires certain information to be inputted for that question to then be answered. And by setting it as a required question, the form can't be submitted until the correct responses have been put in to those different questions. So for short answer and paragraph style questions on a Google form, data validation comes in the form of numbers, text, length, and regular expression. For your checkbox style questions, data validation comes in the form of selecting. So you can set it to at least, at most, or an exact number of boxes have to be checked. So let's take a look at a Google form. So here's the one that I designed for tonight's breakout, which we're going to take a look at in a little bit. And when I set up my Google form, I set whatever banner I want. I put in whatever type of title and description. I like to also automatically collect email addresses as well as their name. The email address I'll actually get to later on as to why I have that. But I like to have some identification in my Google Sheet, which collects all this data, to let me know who has submitted what response. And then I go and create my locks. So I like to put in an image of what kind of a lock you're opening. So for instance, this one's going to be a number lock. It's going to be an 8-digit date. I put in the question. I put in a brief description to kind of help the participant know what information and how they need to input it. And then this is set up as a short answer question. And by adding in, going down to those 3 dots when I'm building my question, data validation, and making it required, I'm now able to set it so that I'm looking at a regular expression. It has to match whatever I put here. So this is the combination for that lock. And I also add some error text. So if they're putting in the wrong combination, this message comes up to kind of let them know like another clue as to where they need to find the information to unlock this lock. So when I actually look at a live form, so let's go over and take a look at this form live. When they go down to start inputting the date, if they're typing the wrong date, you can see that the error message comes up, the question's highlighted red, and I'm not able to submit this form until this question has been addressed and fixed. So this is kind of the nice way of creating a digital lock for your Breakout EDU experience. So embedding items into a 360 image. Talking about Google items specifically, for a Google form, it's as simple as once you've created your form, you go up and you hit the send button. It gives you some different ways that you can share that form. I'm going to choose the embed, and it's just copying and pasting this code in to my tag editor. So here's the one we're going to take a look at shortly. If I added another tag, I get some different options. I can add an image, I could add video that I'm going to upload, or I can choose embed. And this is where I'm able to copy and paste that embed code of the form, and now my form shows up live in my image. When we talk about other Google items, like your Google Docs, your Google Slides, Google Drawings if you wanted to, that's a little different of a process. So for instance, here are the directions I have for the story for this digital breakout. What I want is I want this to show up live as view only on my digital breakout ThingLink. So I'm going to go up to the top, I'm going to click File, I'm going to go down to Publish to the Web, and I'm going to publish this as an embed code. And so now I can copy and paste this embed code once I've hit published. And when I go back to my tag editor and I add a tag, if I go to the embed option and paste that code in, now that Google document is going to show up live for my viewers to be able to see. So let's take a look at this live breakout. So I have here my 360 image. The story for this one is set up where it's the War of 1812, and it's just before the British invade Washington, D.C., and our First Lady, Dolly Madison, took several of the items left in the White House and shipped them other places for protection. One of the such items is an American flag that was sent to Fort Washington, and it was locked up in the lockbox in this room at the fort. But unfortunately, the soldiers forget the combinations to the locks, and so using the clues around the room, you're able to open up the box so that the flag can be then shipped up to Fort McHenry just outside of Baltimore. And so these directions are set up in the document. I've also added a planning doc, which I'm going to show you in a second how that's done. And I also like to add an audio version of the directions so that the participants can also hear the directions if they needed to. So for instance, I have the audio version here using a tool called Audio Boom, and I'm able to have my participants listen to the directions being read to them. The locks to the lockbox are right down here. It's a series of questions on this Google form. They have to figure out a date, a key, they have to spell out a word, or even enter directions. So when you're designing your form, what's nice is it's not just numbers. You know, by using those short answer questions, you can also have words. So I'm going to have text, and it has to contain these words to open up that one. Over here, I have same thing. Text contains and the words that are set for my word lock. For a directional lock, what I like to do is I actually like to have them enter in the arrow directions. To get those, I use a tool called copypastecharacter.com, which we'll see in a minute. And I'm using a regular expression. It has to match these directions. So what's nice is you don't have to have just numerical values as your combinations for your locks. You can have it to be anything. Numerical values, words, letters, symbols can be set to figure out your combinations for your locks. So let's go back to that ThingLink image. So I had a planning doc added in here. I took a picture of my planning doc and I wanted to have it set up so that my participants can be able to fill this out as they're going along, and then once they have all the locks figured out, they can then go and fill out the form. So one of the items is, how do I get this out so that each one gets their own copy? And there's a trick that I set up. So when they click that link, it brings them to a page that asks them, do they want to make a copy of that planning doc? So they'll have their own version of the planning doc. So let's see how to do that. I go into my document. The first thing I need to do once it's made is I go up to share and I set it so that anyone with the link can edit this document. Once I've set that, I get the actual URL to this document. So I go up to the address bar, and what I need to do is I notice at the end of it, it says the word edit. I backspace out the word edit, and I change it with the word copy. And then I highlight this, and this is the link I'm going to use in my form, or in my ThingLink. So let's go back into my editor, and I'm going to click on that tag so you can see. So I added an image, I uploaded an image, just a screenshot of that planning document. And in the text, when I typed in, I wanted the word here to be clickable. So I put the word here in brackets, and then in parentheses right after it, I paste in that URL that has the word copy so that it's now a clickable link. Some other items that I have in this breakout ThingLink, I have same process. I took a screenshot of a web page and I set that link to go to that web page for Fort McHenry. Same thing for Fort Washington. They'll be able to find different clues to locks on those websites. I also added images of some notable figures at the time. So we have Henry Clay, and we also have John C. Calhoun. And those images go along with this website, which I took a screenshot of the website, and I put the link in as well, where they're going to find information for one of the locks there. And then I also have a video here. But I also like to do something different with my videos. So I found a video on YouTube that worked perfectly, except for the fact that it was 8 minutes long. And I only needed 30 seconds of that video as my clue. So I use a tool called SafeShare.tv, where I can copy and paste the URL to the YouTube video, and then SafeShare removes any ads. It will remove any suggested videos at the end. You're not able to see any comments that were posted for that YouTube video. And I also have the ability to set a start and stop time, so I'm only playing the exact clip that I need. And so now by embedding the web address to the SafeShare link, I'm now able to have this video played on my ThingLink. Now, this 360 image I found online, so I also like to add a little attribution. So I put this little tag down here, letting my participants know where I found that image. I found the image on Flickr. A gentleman by the name of Kevin Jennings posted this 360 image. He had a Creative Commons license on it, where as long as I notify him that I'm going to use it and I give attribution in the image, I'm free to then be able to create something off of his 360 photo. So some of those different tips and suggestions I mentioned, safeshare.tv, this is what that website would look like. I just go in and I paste the link to my YouTube video and I hit generate safe view. It gives me the different options to set up where I have my start and stop time, and then the link that it gives me, that's what I can paste in as my embed code to have the video show up. I mentioned also copypastecharacter.com. So when I go to that web page, I have all these different text characters that I can search out and be able to add to my image. I like to use either Voki or Audio Boom to kind of create an audio version of the directions being read so that anyone can go to that tag on the image and be able to hear what they're supposed to do. And then I also highlighted that example of forcing a copy. So if you have a document that's going to be used like a planning sheet that you want each participant to get their own copy of, you can use that little trick so they receive their own copy. Earlier I mentioned with my Google Forms I like to have it collect email addresses. That's so that I can use some advanced features. There's some different add-ons for Google Sheets like Autocrat or Formule that allows me to create a template either of an email or of a document that will then be personalized and sent out upon completion. So like for Formule, I can create an email template that'll pull information from my Google form when it's submitted, and then the person will receive a personalized email letting them know that they successfully broke out. Anything I like to do with that. Autocrat, same type of concept. I created a document with various tags, like it's going to pull in the person's name, and then it will email a congratulations certificate to let them know that they broke out of my ThingLink. So once you've created your digital breakout, what do you now do? Well, you can publish and share it with your students. So on your ThingLink image, you've got a button up here, that's your share icon. When I click on that, I get a link to the actual image, which I could post in Google Classroom. I could add that link to my website if I wanted to, email that out. I also have some social media icons here, so I could post it on Facebook or tweet it out, post it on Google+. And then it also gives you this embed code. And what's nice about the embed code is if you have an LMS like Canvas, Edmodo, Wikispaces, a class website or blog, you could use that embed code and add that into the HTML, and now that image is live and embedded on those various services. So if you have a class website, the image could be on one page on your class website, and the students could just go there and be able to experience your digital breakout. Just so you know, Google Classroom, you would have to use the link and post it as an announcement or an assignment, or post it on the About tab. You're not able to embed in Google Classroom. Hopefully you'll learn with us. We've created the ThingLink 360 Breakout Challenge. If you go to this bit.ly link, it'll bring up a form that you can fill out. Once you've submitted the form, you're registered and you'll receive an email with a join code. The way we have this set up is with my premium account, I create a group. You'll be entered in as a student in my group. And if you have a free or a pro ThingLink account, you'll automatically be upgraded during this challenge to a premium account, receiving all the features that I have with my account, since you'll be considered one of my students. And you'll be able to create a 360 VR image and design your own breakout. This challenge is going to be going on during the month of March. You'll be able to find out more information by going to the ThingLink blog for education. The challenge will first kick off with our posting on Friday, March 3rd, where you'll be able to find out more information. I highly suggest join in with us. We can learn together and see different examples. When the challenge wraps up on March 30th, we're going to have a webinar that night where we're going to invite different participants if they would like to share what they've designed and created and kind of showcase their work, and we can celebrate what they've created. It'll be neat to see the different types of locks they've designed, what types of clues they have, what story they came up with for their digital breakout. Stay tuned for more information on that on the ThingLink blog for education. Thank you for watching this webinar. Back in February, when we were promoting the kickoff webinar, there was a coupon code to receive a discount on a ThingLink Premium. That code expired on February 28th. So if you would like to upgrade, here's a new code that you can use, a coupon, to get 10% off your ThingLink Premium. The code's over here, TLDGEDU. At any time during the challenge, if you have any questions that are of technical natures, you're having trouble joining the ThingLink group with your code that you'll receive when you fill out the form, or if you're having trouble creating a different tag, email support@thinglink.com. That's the quickest way to get a response to those types of questions. Or if you have a question about different techniques, like how did you embed your document, or how do I create a different type of lock in a Google form, the easiest way to get a hold of me is send me a tweet. I'm at Gallagher_tech on Twitter, and I can respond back to that the fastest. So enjoy. I look forward to seeing what you create and you design, and let's learn together. Thank you.